Whether you think of it as a pull or a roll attack, watch this video where I'm going to share with you the risks of pulling the ball, as well as what factors to consider before you decide to make the pull. In a minute, I'm going to share with you 5 factors to consider to decide whether you're going to pull that attack or whether you're going to stay in a more controlled, dinking type of environment. But before we do that, we need to understand the risk of pulling. For some of you watching, this may be the first time you've heard the term pull. Pull refers to when you initiate an attack like that. So you take a neutral ball, whether off the bounce or in the air, and you initiate an attack shot. It can be a flick shot, it can be an off the bounce drive. Anything that initiates an aggressive attack is a pull. What could possibly be the risk with a little attack like that? It looks really nice, it should work all the time, right? So why don't we use it every time we have a neutral shot? The reason we don't want to pull or attack all the time is because every time that we initiate an attack, we open up the possibility for a counterattack, or if you want to think about it this way, a hard attack by our opponents against us off of the attack that we initiated. So before you start attacking every single shot that you're able to attack, understand that there's a risk to your team from initiating that attack. And that's where these 5 factors come into play. The strategies that we're covering in this video are advanced strategies. They're strategies that advanced players consider and in fact make the decision in pro matches often. At the end of the video, I'm going to link to another video that I did, which is a game breakdown of a professional match where I talk about how pulls affected the #1 seed and cost them that game. But before you decide to dive headfirst into pulls and all these other factors that we're going to look at, make sure you watch the end of the video where I talk to you about whether pulls are right for you. Here are 5 factors for you to consider before you initiate a pull attack. #1 is your pull attack expected by your opponents? Every pickleball player out there has patterns and tendencies. I have them and you have them as well. If one of your patterns is that you attack a ball from a certain position a lot of the time, your opponents probably know that. I can tell you personally, I play against certain opponents who I know they're going to attack from different positions based on the type of ball that's presented to them. I am already sitting on their shot. So if they're going to attack in the middle, my paddle may be here before they initiate their attack. If your attack is expected, consider not initiating it. Factor #2 may seem obvious, but players overlook it all the time. And it has to do with the height of the ball over the net. What I see oftentimes are players initiating attacks off of really low balls and hitting up on it, where your ball's either going to go out or it's going to travel up where your opponent can hit down on it. What you want to do if you're going to initiate an attack is look at the height of the shot relative to your shot making ability. Obviously, the higher the shot, the easier it is to initiate the pull. The lower the ball is over the net, the higher the risk of your attack. My man Kyle here, Kyle doing all the work. Factor number 3 is one that's not well appreciated, but can be very powerful. And it has to do with your opponent's position at the time that you decide to attack. If your opponent is recovering from a stressful situation, say a dink that pulls them out wide, and they're coming back into the court, the chances of them being able to successfully counter your attack go down. Opposite is also true. If your opponent is well set in their position and you decide to initiate an attack, the chances of you being counterattacked successfully go up. So consider attacking when your opponents are in a moment of stress and not attacking as much when they're set. Factors 4 and 5 have to do with knowing your opponent and yourself. Let's start with factor 4, which is your opponent. How well does your opponent handle hard attacks? Or looked at it the other way, how good are they at counterattacking your shots? And also, how good are they at letting balls that may travel out go past them? Are they hitting everything and are they not particularly good at countering? If that's the case, then you can probably broaden your attacks a little bit more. If, however, they're good at letting out balls go and countering, then you may want to reconsider initiating an attack. As we dive into factor number 5, which has to do with knowing yourself, if you're enjoying this content, consider subscribing to the channel. We do our best to bring you actionable content that'll help you improve your play. How do you know whether you should pull the attack based on your abilities? Number 1, how good are you at attacking? Are you particularly good off the bounce or out of the air? If you are, then you can broaden your attacks there. Number 2 is, how good are you at firefights? In other words, if you initiate an attack and you get countered, can you stay in that firefight and prevail? The better you are in your initial attacks as well as your firefights, the broader your attacks can be. One last thing to consider, which is, are pull attacks right for you? Now, this is some tough talk with love from your coach. If you're working on other parts of your game, your return to serve, your punch volleys, your block volleys, other things like that, those are going to give you higher value than spending a lot of time on these pull attacks. What I'd recommend you do right now is download this free guide up here, which is designed for the must-have shots for a 3.5 level play. Get those sorted out first and then come back to pull attacks later. I'll see you next time.